Jumbo Scampi. For limited...
All for a price that will make you...
How the hell am I supposed to pay?
You're listening to BAMF, UK Comic Book Radio.
One intro, Bert. Hello everyone, this is BAMF Comic Book Radio. I am Bert, and with me today is Lucas. Say hello, Lucas.
Howdy, Lucas.
Say hello, Fee, because Fee's here.
Hello.
And Sarah's over there. Say hello, Sarah.
Hello.
And we are here to baby make with you. This is BAMF Comic Book Radio, number one place for news, reviews and odd points of views. And we're going to start today's show with loads of San Diego comic book news, convention news, more like, because there's been loads, and people have raged. So Fee, start us off with the raging.
I'm not going to get onto the raging yet, actually. I'm going to start with I'm going to save the raging, because...
Start with some good news.
Yeah, I'm going to start with some good news. No, there's, the Eisner Awards were held on, Friday night. So we've had, all the winners have been announced. So I'm not going to run through all of them, because you can go to, comic-con.org, and go and find all of the winners listed on there. But, I thought I'd mention a few of them. So, best, continuing new series was won by Saga, Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, Saga. And it also won best new series as well. And Brian K. Vaughan won Best Writer. And then good news, as far as I'm concerned, Best Penciler Inker went to David Aja, for Hawkeye, and, Aja also won Best Cover Artist as well. I was kind of a little bit disappointed to see that Hawkeye didn't pick up Best New Series, or Best Continuing Series. I am a massive fan of Saga though, so I am really pleased to have seen that one. But I would have liked to have seen Hawkeye pick up something a little bit more. And best single issue or one shot, was The Maya by Becky Cloonan. Yeah, which I think we're all pretty happy about. We've spoke about it on the show a few weeks ago when Becky herself was on. So I'm really pleased to see that win in. Anyway, as I said, I'm not going to run through all the rest of them because there's tons and tons of winners, but you can go and check them out, on the Eisner website. So go and have a look.
And congratulations to everyone that did win.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now on to more San Diego Comic-Con news. I'm gonna run through some of the Marvel news because there's a hell of a lot. I'm not going to talk about everything because we'll be here for the entire show, but just going to run down a few things. So first thing is Marvel UK has been announced that it's coming back. So this should be quite interesting. They've announced, I think it's coming back on the back of something called Revolutionary War. And this is going to be written by Andy Lanning and Alan Cowsill. So we're going to see the return of some of the Marvel UK characters like Death's Head, and Motormouth, characters like that.
Overkill.
Yeah, Overkill. And then I think they've said that they're actually going to bring all of these characters and link them all up to the current Marvel universe. So they're all going to get linked to, the MI13 characters and Pete Wisdom and maybe Captain Britain and stuff. So sounds really interesting. I suppose we shall find out more imminently. I think that's pretty much all I know about that at the moment. Okay, and then the next thing, one of the next big things that Marvel announced was Wolverine Origin 2, which I'm kind of really surprised about this, to be honest with you, because the original Wolverine Origin story, which was by Paul Jenkins and Andy Kubert, is really great. This is the story that actually finally told the origin of Wolverine, and we find out, how that he was actually born James Howlett and all that kind of thing. And it's a really great story, but I have to admit to being surprised to hearing that there's a sequel, because it's one story that I never really thought warranted a sequel. But, maybe that's just me. But the sequel is going to be written by Kieran Gillen, and drawn this time by Adam Kubert. And it's going to pick up where the original series left off. And it's going to have Sinister in it. I don't know if you guys read this.
I heard that, and I'm kind of not surprised because Kieran Gillen's done a lot with Sinister lately.
He has, but my initial feeling is like, really? Anyway, I have to wait and read it. We'll see. I think it's sounds slightly odd to me, but we'll see. Okay, then the next thing that Marvel had to announce, this has already been announced actually. Funnily enough, Lucas and me and Bert were talking about it just the other day, which is the Inhumanity crossover series, which is coming up soon with Faction. Yeah,
that was real life excitement from Lucas.
Yeah, genuine enthusiasm, even though I may not sound it. But yeah, looking forward to this. So,
there's going to be this Inhumanity crossover. So there was an image that was shown, which shows several sort of characters on the front, Black Bolt, Medusa, but also Spider-Man, and a few other people. And in the middle of this image is Nightcrawler. So, are we finally going to see the return of the 616 Nightcrawler? I hope so. Nightcrawler is one of my favourite characters, so I'm really hoping so. But yeah, we don't really know exactly.
We also see a new costumed Wolverine.
Yes. Yeah, he's on the cover as well. Who's that cover by? It's gone out of my head completely, but it's Steve McNiven.
Was it McNiven?
Yeah, it was Steve McNiven, I'm sure. Unless I've just completely made that up, but pretty sure it was. But then the book that's going to spin out of that, Inhuman, is by Matt Fraction, and he's said that it's going to be a bit like Game of Thrones. So,
and it also said that the premise of it is millions upon millions of new Inhumans. So they said it's going to be similar to a pre-M-Day world, but with
I
Inhumans.
believe the premise is like the Terrigen mists spread all over planet Earth, activating a bunch of people's like dormant human genes.
Yeah. So
however, prolonged exposure to Terrigen mist though causes negative effects. I can't remember exactly what negative effects, but if this mist is spreading all over, there's going to be a big, massive negative fallout as well. So,
Lucas fact.
Woo! Plot point. There you go. Have some of that.
Yeah, this sounds really interesting. And it's Matt Fraction as well, so I'll definitely be picking it up. I don't know, did you guys see when it was actually going to be coming out?
I did. It was after, I know it's definitely after Infinity. They're getting Infinity out of the way and then leading into,
apparently it doesn't happen as part of kind of like, like the aftermath. Infinity. Think of it as like the story that's going to be told after Infinity.
Yeah. Maybe Terrigen Mist is involved in Thanos' plan.
Yeah.
No one knows. But it's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, Thanos is too much for normal people, so.
Normal people. Okay, what we got next?
Okay, and news literally just in from SDCC, which has literally just come in. Marvel's just announced that they're going to be doing an all-new X-Men series written by Jason Aaron, and the art is going to be by Ed McGuinness. And this is going to see all of the teachers from the Jean Grey School. And it starts in November. It's going to be called Amazing X-Men. It's going to see Wolverine, Storm, Beast, Iceman, Firestar. Don't know where she's come from, but forging headlong into hell to rescue Nightcrawler, apparently. So I am so excited. I just mentioned Nightcrawler earlier about him maybe coming back. So I don't know why. Right, Nightcrawler is apparently in hell. I'm not really sure why, but it might be something to do with his dad, who is the demon Azazel. So it looks like he'll be turning up to fight him. So this sounds really exciting. I'm so excited.
And you just can't hide it. Bam. Bam.
I can't. Well, I love Jason Aaron, I love Ed McGuinness, and I love Nightcrawler. So what's not to love? I've been waiting for Nightcrawler to come back for such a long time. So it sounds awesome. And then the other thing, the other film news was they had a big panel featuring the Guardians of the Galaxy cast.
Woo!
Yeah, so we found out a little bit more information. I think probably the big shock of the panel was Karen Gillan turning up and sitting down at the panel and then whipping her hair off because it turns out it's a wig. Yeah, and she's shaved all of her hair off to play Nebula. So they also had they cut together a short bit of footage to show people. So they've only been filming for I think 12 days. James Gunn said. So they haven't got, tons of footage, but he managed to cut a little teaser trailer together, which they showed to everybody, which sounds amazing. I think it went down really well. And they had, they've also got some props and stuff from the film, that they were exhibiting as well. So, sounds awesome. Can't wait to see this film. Really, really excited about it.
Yep.
Okay, so next is, well, not really, they didn't actually tell us much, but they just showed us a picture of Marvel Man and said that they haven't forgotten.
Which means that they have forgotten, but then just before San Diego said, oh
Hi.
shit. Hello, Sarah.
I'm back.
Yeah, we got you back.
Alright, cool.
Hi.
Alright, start from
they
wherever you were, but
yeah, so what it means is they did forget, but then just before the weekend came, they didn't forget and was like, quick, get us a symbol while they battle out this law, suit thing or copyrights thing. I don't know. I'm giving up on caring for Marvel Man now, Marvel. You've ruined him.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm just
Bastard.
like, whatever. If it comes along, it comes along, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
I remember hearing speculation that originally it was meant to be Marvel Man coming in after Age of Ultron rather than Angela. That's what I heard. Speculation. I'm not going to believe it because it was only speculation, but kind of makes sense.
Yeah, possible. Okay, so next thing was, so after the events of Age of Ultron, after the events of that, and then when we see Galactus turning up at the end, and, threatening to sort of eat the...
Yeah, he's going to nom up the Ultimate World.
Which is, as I keep saying, fine by me. Then Bendis and stuff was talking about this series called Cataclysm, The Ultimate's Last Stand by Bendis and Bagley, which is going to be 5 issues coming out in November. So this is about the 616 Galactus coming to the Ultimate Earth and eating it. Bendis has said this is really, really important chapter in all the Ultimate books, and will feature all of the characters from the Ultimate books, including Miles Morales. And is, talk about breaking up the barriers between the two universes, which we kind of knew this. So that I assume that this must spin out of Hunger, whatever happens in Hunger.
Yeah.
And lots of people obviously are asking questions. Is this going to be the end of the Ultimate universe altogether? And are we going to then see Miles Morales move over to the 616? And they won't answer this question at all yet. They just keep saying you have to read this Cataclysm event.
Yeah. I also saw the question was asked, will we see an outcome from Peter Parker Googling Miles Morales' name? And apparently that has got something big coming. I can't remember where they said it was coming, but it's definitely going to be touched upon.
Well, they've said it definitely will. There's big plans for it. But he said in some kind of a way that Cataclysm is sort of like a sequel to Spider-Man because it deals with people finding out about another universe existing. But I think Bendis was trying to say that the events of what happens at the end of Spider-Man will definitely get dealt with in its own thing at some point, but just not in this Cataclysm series.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Okay, so next thing Marvel had to show us was, they actually showed the S.H.I.E.L.D. pilot episode to everybody who was there in the hall. So they've all got to watch it. Everything I've seen, out of all the people that were there who were tweeting about it and posting about it and stuff, has been really positive. Haven't actually read anything from anybody saying that they didn't like it or were disappointed with it in any way. So that sounds good. And they've also confirmed that Kobe Smulders, who plays Maria Hill in the Avengers, is going to guest star in the series. So that was one question I had, because I was like, how can you have S.H.I.E.L.D. without having, one of the directors in it or whatever? Maria Hill as being the deputy director of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever she is in Avengers. I still don't really know how they're going to do it without Samuel L. Jackson or Fury being...
I remember seeing a quote from Samuel L. Jackson saying that it won't be official until he makes a cameo, so I think he's trying to get a little screen time in there.
Yeah.
Which would be good. Just one scene of I'm the boss.
Yeah. So not too long to wait for that for us really. I think September it's coming. So I'm looking forward to that. And then just a few other things, loads of other things, but I'm not going to run through all of them because there literally is just too much stuff. So that's that. So Sarah, I think there was a few sort of DC bits and pieces.
Yeah, like the Marvel stuff, there seems to be quite a lot of things coming out, a lot of discussion of things like the Evil event that will be happening later on this year in the Trinity War. But a few things I wanted to focus on was we found out that Zod will be coming to the New 52 in the Villains Month one shot. I'm not sure which issue it will be, obviously one of the Superman ones. We get to see a sort of origin story from him, find out more about the relationship between him and Jor-El, and find out more about the problems between Jor-El and Zor-El. And we've also seen some character designs for him, which do look pretty cool. So I'm excited to see that. There was also some information about the new DC Collectibles line. There's quite a few, there's about 10 or so I think that they announced, but particular ones which I am just in total awe of is there's Black Canary is joining the DC Bombshells line, which is a set of sort of 50s, 40s inspired superheroines. And the Black Canary one, she just looks absolutely gorgeous. She's got this she's got this black tight pencil skirt on. She's got a sort of checkered low cut top shirt on, sort of Amy Winehouse hair and makeup, and she's got a microphone, so I guess she's meant to be singing in some cabaret club somewhere. It's an absolutely perfect interpretation of Black Canary if she wasn't a superhero and she was sort of set in, like, and she was actually around in the 40s, 50s like then. Not sure I'm going to be able to get it because I'm not sure what the price range will be, but it is absolutely gorgeous. There was also a new Wonder Woman statue announced called, which is apparently going to be a new one in the Art of War line of statues, and it's just absolutely delightful. She's wearing a little skirt, so you don't in the shorts. She's got a little cape on with a really nice clasp holding the cape onto her. She's got a shield. She's sort of in mid-action pose. Again, it's just absolutely lovely. Another one I'd really, really like to get, but probably unlikely, as I don't think it will be too cheap. There's more information about this they can also be found sort of like, anywhere. The news is all online, so have a look for that. But the biggest news, I think, that came out of it was the news there's going to be a Superman Batman film. Coming. Yeah, it's I know my reaction to Man of Steel, and I know I got really, really angry and annoyed about it. But I am so ridiculously excited about this film. I have wanted to see these guys on the big screen together for I don't know how long, decades. I'm so excited. I can't really express.
We should give some spoilers.
Sorry?
You should give them some spoilers, like in the film, Batman and Superman meet. Spoilers!
I suppose the biggest thing for me is who's going to play Batman.
Yeah.
Lucas, I've got some news for you, mate. I am.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Good luck.
Perfect.
Good luck getting fit for the role.
No, I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if it was, originally, when the Justice League movie script first came a few years ago, it was meant to be the guy that's currently playing Lone Ranger, Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing him do it.
Really?
He's young, he's got a look about him, but he's a bit more comedic looking in Lone Ranger, so toughen him up a bit, it'd be Batman.
Nah.
Then it's going to be me then.
I just wonder, I would love to see
you.
I'd
You're
love
going to
to
have
see
a Batman
Christian Bale's
at
Batman.
on Lois Lane.
No, Christian Bale's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman would just be funny.
It'd be like this. Sorry, mate. Even with my superior hearing, I can't hear you. No, seriously, I can't.
I've seen loads of people whining about this news today.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. I'm like you, Sarah. I'm really excited for this. This will be amazing. I think I said back when I first started reading comics, right? Way back when, and I read The Dark Knight Returns, and Superman shows up in Dark Knight Returns. And at this point, I'm quite not new to comics, but not new to the characters. And just seeing sort of Superman turn up in a Batman book for me, like all those years ago, it was so exciting.
It's a thrill, isn't it?
To see, yeah. And like to see them together, on film together, it would be amazing. No matter who's playing Batman or whatever. I've seen a lot of people saying that they think that this is a bad move because this is coming as a Man of Steel sequel. So this will be in effect Man of Steel 2. Batman will be appearing rather than a standalone Batman Superman film, and a lot of people think that that's doing a disservice to the Man of Steel film and Henry Cavill and the whole franchise. But I don't think so.
It was kind of nodded to in Man of Steel. You saw 2 references to both Wayne and LexCorp. So it was kind of already on the books, I think.
I think as well, they've got a long way to go still to build up to anything anywhere near a Justice League film. So, you know, and obviously I think that Warner would like to do this, and if they're going to want to do it and they want, you know, Henry Cavill to be in it or whatever, then they're going to have to get a move on. Let's face it. So one of the best things that they could do, I guess, is by, you know, putting the 2 together in a Man of Steel sequel.
I don't get what people are complaining about. It's Batman and Superman in the same movie.
There you go. Listen to Lucas's words, people.
Did you guys see the quote that was given at the announcement?
It was from Dark Knight Returns, right?
Yeah. So it goes, I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. So a lot of things in my timeline, people were objecting to that because they immediately took it that it was going to be the Dark Knight Returns movie, which isn't how I took it at all. I took it as they're going to use that to influence it, which is fine. You know, it's going to be dark, it's going to be gritty. I'm
really sorry, okay, but if Batman and Superman fight, it's literally going to be Batman made into paste and then used to clean Superman's teeth. There's not going to be no fight.
Tonight will happen?
I think it will be Lex Luthor makes kryptonite, and then someone smart as Lex Luthor, Bruce Wayne Batman, comes in and saves the day. Because he's Batman.
Okay, what's next up on DC News then?
That was about it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I mean, the film is the biggest thing, so,
I think,
I think...
there was another bit, I think, like, they was talking about how after the whole Batman Superman film, they'll launch, like, they was thinking about launching a Flash film out of that.
That's
and
just
then,
rumors. That's not definite, I think.
Okay, and then potentially a Justice League film come 2017.
We'll be definitely getting a Justice League.
And at some point we might get a Wonder Woman one and possibly a Supergirl one, which would be nice, but I won't hold my breath.
More perfect for me.
They didn't officially announce any of that in the end. I think the rumour was that they were going to announce the Flash movie, you know, and the Justice League, but they haven't done that. They've just announced the Man of Steel sequel too. So yeah, still have to wait and find out what's happening with the rest of it, I suppose.
Yeah. Right, I've got one more bit of news where the rage is coming from. It's up to date on the Pulse news, and loads of rage is coming. Avengers 2 has finally been given its subtitle. It's going to be called Avengers Age of Ultron. People are going mental because of Age of Ultron. It smelled and no one wanted to touch it. But we're being told it's nothing to do with the book. This is going to be an origin story for Ultron. But there's going to be no Hank Pym. That's my rage. Okay. I tried all weekend to be really excited and really happy, but then this final bit of news broke me. No Hank Pym in Avengers 2 or involved in Age of Ultron. People should just burn their copies of Age of Ultron if they haven't already, because they probably have. Anyway, don't really do that as a joke. So yeah, we're being told there's going to be no Hank Pym, but we are being told that it's going to be Ultron. It's going to be tied with the Avengers somehow. Specification Iron Man makes him. We're being told that Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye will have lots more screen time and a bit more story to him. Woo! And we're going to be getting Falcon, who's going to be coming out of Captain America 2 into the Avengers. And the actor got really excited because he has wings and guns. Wings and guns. That's all you need, apparently. Pardon?
I said how 90s.
How 90s. Wings and guns. And leather pouches, I mean. And jackets.
Holograms.
And long hair. And holograms. Mm. Yeah. It would just be one walking hologram, like we're covered in foil.
Alright, so, let's move on then. So, yeah, what have we been reading this week, guys?
Fee?
Okay, I'm going to start because this is a big one. So, this week, we saw X Factor by Peter David, X Factor issue 259. And so it was announced not that long ago that Peter David is winding up his immensely amazing run on this X Factor series, and it's all coming to an end. There's only, I think, 3 more issues to come after this issue, before it winds down completely. So for years now, Peter David has been promising us that he would tie up a 21-year-old dangling plot point. So I'll give you some quick backgrounds on it. So in the early 90s, an early 90s X-Men series, then Dazzler was married to Longshot, and Dazzler became pregnant, and then at some point they were then transported to Mojo World. And
that's a serious thing, Sarah. Don't laugh.
This is very,
I know, I've just been reading it. It still makes funny.
Yeah. And then they're in Mojo World for a while. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, when Dazzler comes back from Mojo World, she's no longer pregnant, and baby was never really mentioned or referred to ever again. So some people took that to mean that she'd had an abortion or she had a miscarriage or whatever. And so, we never really knew what happened. So then there were rumours, there was loads of rumours going around that it had something to do with Shatterstar maybe or whatever. And Peter David said, it's long been teasing that he would finally clear up what the relationship between Shatterstar and Longshot actually is. Because we've been wondering whether they were a clone of one was a clone of the other, whether Shatterstar was Longshot's kid or whatever. So now with only 3 or 4, including this one, issues to go, Peter David has cleared this up. And we've actually found out what the exact relationship is between them. So, spoilers, please, if you haven't read X Factor 259, because this is a big thing, then please switch off, go away, come back and listen to us afterwards, because I'm about to spoil everything. So we have found out that Shatterstar is Longshot's son. So Longshot is Shatterstar's father, but additionally, Shatterstar is Longshot's father, and they are both their own grandfathers.
What?
What came first, the X-Man or the sperm?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's...
Do you want me to give you a quick... Let me quickly give you this. I'm going to help you explain. So, if I'm right in thinking, Longshot impregnated Dazzler, baby maked her. Dazzler had the baby. Longshot grew up, got cloned... No, Shatterstar grew up, got cloned into Longshot, who then baby makes Dazzler to make a cycle that's unending.
Yeah.
It's just a constant sperm donation.
So it's very confusing, but yeah, it's the way that you've explained it, but it's like a constant, unending, unbroken cycle, basically.
Yeah.
So all
this
of
is also where the spider baby's gone.
Yes.
Do you remember? Peter Parker's baby is actually Peter Parker's clone.
Yeah.
It's Ben Reilly.
Let's not go. Oh God, my mind.
We're not going to explode minds anymore. Basically, what Peter David done was put a bomb in everyone's brain and just detonated it.
Yeah. So it was kind of the news that a lot of people were expecting, because I mean, I can't remember where this happened, but way back when, Beast actually discovered that Longshot and Shatterstar have got the same DNA. So we knew that. And then it'd been I think way back in that early 90s X-Men series, Longshot even suggested the name Shatterstar to Dazzler when she was pregnant.
Because that's a normal thing to call your kid.
Yeah.
Don't worry about calling it John or Simon. Shatterstar.
Is that his actual first name? He's not...
Shatterstar. His name is Shatterstar Dazzler Twinkly Eye.
No, this is the thing, right? But Shatterstar does actually have his name is Gavidra 7, right?
That's also a normal name.
Yeah, it's Longshot who doesn't actually have a name, or we don't actually really know who his name is.
God, these X-Men need proper names.
Yeah, and then just call it like that. But it's anyway. I'm gonna make things even more complicated now. So at some point, there was a character called Benjamin Russell. Does anybody remember this?
No.
And
my mind hurts.
It's going to hurt even more. Maybe I should leave it into this.
No, just go.
Anyway, right. So Shatterstar found that he had the memories of a human called Ben Russell, and then afterwards, right. Oh God, I'm even confused, and I'm trying to tell the story. Make a long story short. Shatterstar ended up merging with Benjamin Russell, so they became one complete person, and their memories and everything merged together. And they also looked alike as well. They were basically looked exactly the same. And none of that was really explained by Peter David or spoken about or sort of mentioned in any way. I think basically he's actually chosen to ignore that part of the story, which I'm kind of quite glad about, because
it made no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to everything else he's done.
As opposed to them being their own grandfathers, which makes infinitely much more sense. Then, yeah, anyway, but you'll have to, if you don't know anything about that Benjamin Russell story, then go and research it and get even more confused. But, I mean, one thing I'll say about the issue, I really enjoyed it, but I've been waiting for such a long time for this, to find this out. I think everybody who reads X Factor has been waiting for such a long time to find out exactly what's going on with all these characters and how they're all connected and everything, and what the relationship is. And it was done in one issue. And I really did feel like the whole thing was rushed. It's a brilliant issue. It's really well done. It's really well written. It's fantastic. But it almost feels like now we know that the next issue is going to move on to somebody else, because the winding down of this whole series is like each issue is dealing with what happens to each of the characters. So the last issue we find out what happens to Rain. This issue is about Richter, Shatterstar and Longshot. We've still got to find out what's going to happen to Guido and M and Jamie and Layla and everything. And there's only 3 issues left. So after all of that waiting, done in one issue, did feel a bit rushed. But that's my only criticism. I enjoyed it otherwise. So Sarah, you've been in a weird kind of connection, been reading some of this early 90s X-Men stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, I got given a load of free comics, so I've been reading them for a few months now, and I got through so I was given a lot of Uncanny X-Men stuff, which I think pretty much spanned from January 1990 to about mid-1995, and given I haven't read a whole lot of X-Men before, I thought I'd start with this lot, because it seems to be the ideal place, since I was given them, and everybody loves the 90s. And yeah, this last week I got through all of those, and then I got on some other random X-Men stuff, and that's when I first came across the Mojo World and Shatterstar and Longshot. It wasn't Shatterstar, it was just Longshot and Dazzler then, and it was, the Mojo World thing is just ridiculous. The whole idea is just ridiculous. Although one of the issues, which had some of the X-Men being fooled into thinking they were in the Wizard of Oz film, and then acting out in Mojo World like the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. It was nuts, but it was great fun.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was great. A lot of this stuff is from the 90s, so some of it was genuinely good. Some of it was just a bit awful, was a bit shoddy. And I was just sort of going through them, bits I've enjoyed, bits I haven't. And then I found these 4 issues called X-Men Unlimited in the pile of stuff that I got. They all appear to be about 60 pages long or something, and I don't have the whole run, and I'm quite gutted about that. I've only got issues 1, 3, 5 and 7, I think it is. But they're really good. I don't know what the background to this particular series was. I don't know, to me it's just another X-Men title, but it's told so well. So the last issue I got was it's number 7, and that's Storm and Bishop. No, not Storm and Bishop. Storm and Gambit and Jean go to Cairo to see the guy who mentored Storm when she was a thief in Cairo, because he's dying. And you've got Gambit calling Storm Stormy throughout it, which I think is just really cute. And I think I came across that at some point in the Uncanny X-Men comics. Storm had been de-aged to about 8 or 10 and didn't have any memories. So Gambit came and found her and started calling her Stormy. She didn't like that. And then at one issue she just turned up, she was full adult again. And I don't know all of it, but it's been really good fun. I now think I am actually an X-Men fan. I know people in it. I know who you're talking about, for instance. It's great. And then, who's it? Yeah, Bishop. Finally read about him in some of the other ones. That's great. Really, really great. Saw the pictures of the casting for the Days of Future Past film. Yeah. Fantastic. It was absolutely gold. To me, that's perfect from what I've read. Yeah. I don't know if he's changed style later on, but from the 90s stuff.
When you catch up, you're going to hate him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bishop goes on a very, very, very bumpy character arc development from where you are up until where he is now.
He stops being called dreadlock guy to being bald nutcase.
Yeah.
Well, I might not actually end up reading those because I've only got about, in my box of stuff, I've only got about another 40 issues and they're all bits and bobs. They're all completely, there's Grant Morrison stuff. It's not a full run at all. I've got through my full run. I'm sort of tempted to read stuff like get it off Comixology or get trades out the library, but I've also got another 3 boxes of free comics to read. So I'm going to try and get through those first. I mean, there's DC stuff in there, there's Independence, there's a hell of a lot of Grant Morrison. I think I've got Legion of Superheroes to go next, which is another team that I thought I would hate. But, like X-Men, I don't think I'd enjoy this at all, but it's been really, really great. Forge is another guy I've really enjoyed.
I love Forge. Forge is one of my favourites. Yeah, it's one of my favourite X-Men characters.
Him and Storm nearly got engaged, didn't they? Or did they get engaged?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Storm's a pimp. She goes with everyone.
No, she doesn't. I've read the bits of her. I'm married to Black
Wolverine, Black Panther, Forge. Who else? Jesus, man, she's been with loads. Nightcrawler, I think, at one point. Almost Nightcrawler. She's got a track record. Xavier? No, I'm joking, not really Xavier.
No one can get Xavier, unless they're stupid.
Hey man, he got the Shi'ar lady.
Yeah, she's awful.
Princess Lilandra.
Yeah, that's it. She's hot, mate. She's a bird lady and everything. Dan said she's only been with 4 guys. 4 guys is a lot, Dan, for Storm. Mrs. Princess. Anyway.
Enough slandering of her character. These are great.
Mohawk.
I'm an X-Men
I
fan.
love Storm. Good, because X-Men are cool. Just a little bit bumping, a little bit weird in times.
I'd recommend if you can like pick up trades and stuff from the library or something. I'd recommend you go on to that you do all of the sort of Messiah complex. All of that, and House of M and that.
Oh, I do want to read House of M. That's been on my to-read list for a long time, so I knew about that. And there's other things that I found out about Genosha, which wasn't quite what I thought it was, but maybe I'm just not on the right bit. I don't know.
I wouldn't bother with that. But yeah, Necrosha, did you say?
No, Genosha, the mutant hating state, I think. Yeah. I'll get to bits as and when, but at the moment I'm just, thoroughly enjoying it all. Added appreciation for films. Bit confused by some people in the comics, like Bobby Drake and Rogue in the films is obviously quite young. She's an adult in this.
Yeah, they've changed those characters quite a lot.
But also, another thing, sorry, this has all been quite exciting. Rogue and Gambit, really like them. Want more to read more about them and their romance. Send me things to read about them. That'd be great.
Ups and downs. Split up, get together. Split up, get back together.
Doomed love. Do they ever have sex?
Yep, lots.
Yes.
Without killing him?
Yeah, he's still alive. He's got his own solo series at the moment. He's doing all right.
Has he still got stupid hair?
Always.
No. Well, he's okay. He's sort of long had the reputation of being sort of like the heartthrob of the X-Men.
Dan from the Phantom Zone says the X-Men are basically EastEnders for comic fans. Really good way of summing up the X-Men. It's just lots of, you slept with my wife, well, she had it coming.
You're my grandfather, I'm your grandfather.
Get out of my pub, and he's like, it's a school, you mad old bastard. And then the Sentinel shows up and it's like, do. That's it. That's how it goes. X-Men. Phil Mitchell is Xavier.
That's not horrific. I'll end my X-Men ranting now. Lucas?
Alright, well this week, I haven't really, sorry. Okay. This week,
Lucas.
I've been reading, Thanos Rising, issue 4, which is kind of, we're just coming up to like, the end of the whole Thanos before Thanos thing. So, I'll give you guys a quick summary. Thanos has become a space pirate after going around and killing a bunch of his offspring and their mothers. And he's going around being a space pirate, pillaging worlds, yada yada yada, as you do. And then, of course, there's this little girl who's kind of been guiding all of his decisions up to this point, who we all know is deaf, who Thanos is in love with, but this issue we find out that she actually really is deaf, and that all this time Thanos has been talking to her, nobody else has been able to see her, so it just makes him seem even more crazy. And then Thanos tries to commit suicide, doesn't work, and then Death convinces him to go attack his home planet. And that's pretty much the issue. Nothing really major happened. I'm reading it because it's all I've got until Infinity comes out. On the plus side, the artist's name escapes me, but the art in Thanos Rising is still as beautiful as ever. If there's one thing that's been consistent with the series, is that the art has always been fantastic, really, and the covers are all so sexy.
Lucas, how did you describe the art? The Italian artist's name art?
I'm not going to say how I described it.
Well, I will. He said to me, turned to me and went, the Italian art, that is my Dol Mio Day. With a serious face.
Simone Bianchi, yeah?
Yeah. That is, she is Lucas's Dol Mio Day, everyone. That's a review. Just leaving it there.
Thank you. The other thing I've been reading is New X-Men, but I still haven't finished that yet, so I'll save that for next week's show. So, what's next? Well,
normally this is where I'd come in with what I've been reading, but I'm skipping that because last week we've seen some films, some summer blockbusters, and one of them was Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim. I think three of the four of us have seen this. Am I right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just going to quickly give you a rundown. It's the giant monster film with giant robots kicking each other in. I enjoyed it a lot. It was really bad, cheesy acting, but it kind of knew it was and embraced it and was fun. And it had giant monsters being cut in half and being punched and robots being torn asunder as cheesy looking American chiseled jaw guys and fake Australians got beaten up. It was fun.
Yeah, apart from everyone in it's British as well. That's the other thing. So you've got my Idris Elba, who cannot do any wrong in my eyes, as far as I'm concerned. And Sean from EastEnders, who was pretending to be Australian.
Keeping in the EastEnders pool there.
Yeah. And Charlie Hunnam, Charlie Hunnam, who was years ago in, a series called Queer as Folk, a Channel 4 drama called Queer as Folk years ago. He was really good in that. Yeah, very young he would have been in that. That was like late 90s, was it?
Was he the kid?
He was the kid. Yeah, he was the blonde kid in it, yeah.
I remember.
So that's him. And he's been, for the last few years, in a TV series called Sons of Anarchy, which I randomly, in a random connection, started watching yesterday. I didn't actually realise that he was in it. Yeah, he's alright. He does a good job. But I don't understand why he has to be American when Idris Elba has obviously got bored of doing American accents and has decided to do his British accent. So why Charlie Hunnam had to be American, I don't know. But anyway.
Because America won the day, man. America! They won.
America, yeah. But it's right, the whole film is stupid. It's preposterous, it's ridiculous, it's stupid, but you know that going in to watch it because it's massive, giant robots versus monsters from the sea somewhere in the...
From the rim.
From the Pacific Rim.
From the rim, just say that.
It's ridiculous. But is it fun? Yeah, it's really good fun. Really beautiful CGI. Because it is largely, let's face it, a film. It's a CGI film. Most of the sets, everything, all of the action that happens in it is all CGI related. But it is done really, really well. It is quite a sort of, spectacular visual. I think, as Bertie said, some of the acting and the dialogue was really bad. But, as long as you go in not expecting to see, I don't know, I can't think of anything now, but,
The Dark Knight.
or something highbrow or whatever. It is what it is, and I don't think it pretends to be anything.
It's not that nabby.
Yeah, it doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is, and for that I think you have to admire it, really. It's not a brilliant film, I'm not going to say that it is, but is it enjoyable? Yes, it is.
It is literally worth a watch. When the DVD comes out and you've got nothing to do, sit, get some mates around, chill out and relax, you'll all have a good time. And Ron Perlman's in it, he's funny.
Well, I'm gonna have to kind of, counter thing and say, I think it is a brilliant film. if you're going into the cinema to see a film about robots fighting sea monster alien dimension thingies.
Clones.
Okay. Right. If you, well, spoiler, but no, I went into the cinema thinking, I just want to watch dudes punching other dudes. And instead what I got was robots punching giant aliens, and it was great. And it was a lot of fun, and I wasn't expecting the acting to be great, so therefore it wasn't that much of a disappointment to me, and I love cheesy acting, so. But yeah. I thought it was
enjoyable.
fantastic.
Go see it. Out of 5 stars, I'd give it about a 3, 2.5, 3.
I'd give it 3 stars.
I'll give it a 2. And an extra one just for Idris Elba and Charlie Hunnam, the hubba.
Oh, that's cheating. Okay, and the second film we saw was the Flashpoint Paradox, was the latest in DC animation. This one took place using the story of Flashpoint by Jeff Johns and Adam Kubert. And yeah, it was alright. I don't really have much to say on it. Lucas and Sarah, I believe you two have seen it. I'm going to let you two handle this one.
Well, I liked it. I'll be honest, I'm going to go at the start of the animation, in my opinion, wasn't that great.
Yeah,
the way certain characters looked, like Aquaman's head was too small for the rest of his body.
Yeah.
All
always
of them
made him look
like that, all the men.
They all had really small feet, really small heads, but really large chests.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like the way the animation was. I didn't like the cut to like there was a standard kind of animation, then it goes to kind of like this 3D animation, usually when the Flash is running, and it just doesn't look as good. There's this whole ending sequence where the Flash is running around, and it just looks horrible. It looks really, really badly done. Other than that, the story was, it was Flashpoint. It was alright. Condensed into about an hour, 20 minutes worth of story. Batman was cool. And then I was like, I want my Batman back. That was pretty much it, really.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yeah, well I actually really did quite enjoy it. I mean, the animation, as you said, just the styles, the faces and the eyes were just pretty dire, I thought, actually. But the whole thing I did quite enjoy, and I hated Flashpoint in the comics when it came out, although I could work out at the time that it was to do with the delivery. It felt forced, it felt rushed, it felt like it was done just to reboot the universe at the end of it. It didn't feel like anybody had put really much heart and soul into the story. So it just came off really badly, whereas this film didn't feel like that. I thought it was good fun. Okay, none of the characters in there, hardly any of them are like you'd expect them to be, but that's because it's a whole different world. It's a world of Flashpoint, so Wonder Woman's just a bit proud and mental, and Aquaman's just bitter and twisted and looks not as much quite like a Nazi as he did in the comics. He had slightly longer hair, but that was still a bit strange. So the only people who were like really true to form, I think, Barry Allen, who I'm not particularly a fan of anyway, but he was alright in this. I guess Superman still has some of his basic character about him, just the fact that he's this weedy, sickly.
You mean Mr. Fantastic Superman?
Yes, yeah. Very long-limbed, isn't he? It's a bit like a spider. Yeah, but no, I enjoyed it. I sat there and I giggled my way through it. I essentially just like to see superheroes on TV. I watched like pretty much any superhero movie, even Man of Steel. I've come round to liking most of it. I watched Smallville. I'm sure when I get around to watching Arrow, I'll love it. I've watched any cartoons that I've seen I really like. It was really quite enjoyable. I'd quite happily sit down and watch it again.
I'm going to quickly say, this was the beginning of what is now going to be nothing but New 52 continuity animated shows. Movies. So, the next movie to come out will be based on the original 6 issues of Jeff Johns' Justice League. And from there, I mean, it was very clear at the end that it was in the New 52. It had the same leave off of the costume and the letter to Bruce Wayne from his dad and stuff. So anything that comes now from the New 52 event wise or story wise, we'll be seeing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Night of Owls or a Death of the Family. I know, there's a lot more stories back in the old
I'm never going to get a Killing Joke animated story now.
You never know. Mark Hamill said that he would happily come back as the Joker for that.
Yeah, which means we're never going to see Mark Hamill again because it's...
You never know.
Is the Killing Joke not still in continuity?
Only some, I think, or well, it depends how year zero goes, I think, because obviously that's got a Red Hood tie to it, and it's all very complicated. And this is the classic thing DC does, where it's Everything's in continuity except for this. Oh, and everything else.
Yeah, so I think they could still make it. It won't be quite the same, but it wouldn't be exactly the same as the comic anyway, even if they put it into animation. I think you should watch it and then pick and choose which bits you like of it and make it your own headcanon.
But yeah, so look forward to that. Look forward to a lot more of Jim Lee style people. Personally, I don't care. I'm not too keen on what they've offered me recently. The last good thing I watched was a little while, it was very recent, but still it was a Dark Knight Returns. But I'm getting bored of the Superman Batman theme. This Flashpoint was very different because it was focused on Flash, but of course Batman had to be there. I'm just getting bored of it. Give me some new characters. Give me a Green Lantern if you can. Give me a Flash. Give me a Wonder Woman. Give me an Aquaman. There's plenty more stuff you can do. Okay. Now, I do believe we've got some questions, Fee.
Yep, lots of questions. Okay. So, I hope everybody has their question head on.
Question time. Dun.
Upset. Wob, 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 wob.
Whoop.
So you just had to, spruce it up there, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go with the first question, which is from Jimmy on Twitter. His Twitter handle is JimmyMCG. And he asks us, is the industry so focused on the next new thing that readers can't enjoy current storylines? And he gives an example. He says for at the moment he's enjoying Trinity War, but all of the focus seems to be on the upcoming Forever Evil, which is 2 months from now. So, so what you're saying is, with all of the things, we're always looking ahead all of the time. So does that stop us from enjoying what's actually happening now?
It's a good question. Because there is always a lot of stuff where it's like, this is coming, and then it comes, and then straight after you've got, this is coming. You know, obviously we've got Infinity coming, and now they're already looking at Inhumanity coming after that, and whatever else. But I don't think it necessarily takes away from what you're currently reading. I think it's something to look forward to. You know, you look over, it's literally like, I don't know, you're doing something, you look over, like, oh, I'll get to that next. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily going to ruin it, unless you let it ruin it. Unless you'd be like, well, there's no point in me reading this because Thanos is coming to destroy everything. You know? That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah. I think I understand, why you would ask that question. And I think, like you just mentioned the examples of, like Infinity and stuff. I think, taking Marvel as an example for this year is a little bit irritating for them because we've just had Age of Ultron and now we're going to go into Infinity. So it's like they've just decided to sort of sandwich 2 events into this year. Yeah. And it does sort of feel a little bit like a bit too much, but does it actually stop me from enjoying what I'm actually reading at present? Not for me, I don't think. I can understand that it's a bit annoying, but I'm not so sure it actually stops me from enjoying it.
Maybe it's, sorry, go on, Lucas.
Well, yeah, no, I'm kind of with Phil on that. It doesn't stop me from enjoying it. Sometimes I don't like being, look out because the next big thing is this thing. But, I'm still quite capable of enjoying what I'm currently reading and still looking forward to whatever new is going to come out.
Yeah. Sarah?
I think I see where Jimmy's coming from, but I think with you guys, I think especially with where DC is at the moment, just a couple of years from New 52, I think it helps with their world building and working out who's around, who's important, who's not important. And if you're interested in the stories that they're telling, and the ones that I am interested in seeing what will happen with the villain's month. So it just sort of builds it up in my mind. And I just think if they were to stop promoting something in the future alongside an event that's happening now, they probably wouldn't do very well at selling that event in the future, if that makes sense. So, no, it doesn't affect my enjoyment at all, I don't think.
Just don't really enjoy it. Look at it as the best way. You're eating a bit of cake, and then you look over and you see more cake, and you're like, I'm having some of that.
Delicious cake.
Yeah. I think like, comic fans as it is already let too many things stop them just enjoying what they're reading or what's coming out or whatever, as it is anyway. So I think it's just sort of another thing to just not worry about too much. You know what I mean? I think we all do. Why do we do this hobby? Why do we have this hobby in the first place?
Why do you
read comics? Yeah, to enjoy yourselves. And if you don't enjoy it, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not enjoying what's coming up, then don't do it. Just don't bother.
Praise the Lord, sister.
Yeah, amen. Okay, so next question is from our absentee, our friend in absentia, Nevs, who asked, what's your favourite thing that's been mentioned at San Diego this weekend? So your favourite project or whatever that's been mentioned.
Batman Superman movie.
Same here. Made my weekend. Amazing news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally Age of Ultron, and then Pym wasn't in it. So Marvel managed to stuff me full of excitement and then deflate me.
I think my favourite thing was, so they had an Amazing Spider-Man 2 panel, and so, right, you all know my love of Spider-Man. I think everybody knows my love of Andrew Garfield. So I am excited for Amazing Spider-Man 2, despite the first Amazing Spider-Man not being all that amazing, apart from Andrew, who was amazing. But I am really excited about the new one. I think they're going to have learned a lot of lessons from the first one, I hope. And, you know, I think it's going to be really good. But the best thing was about this Spidey panel was, they showed, footage of, Spidey in costume, arriving at San Diego, swinging through the air, crawling up a building, and then Spidey actually runs into Hall H. Here he comes, in his costume, comes to take his place at the panel, and this is Andrew Garfield in character, in costume for the whole panel, and it was so funny. It was just Andrew being Peter, you know, being Spidey. It was just absolutely fantastic. And then Jamie Foxx turns up, and Jamie Foxx
electrocutes everyone.
Yeah, and he's sitting there going, this is him, isn't it? This is actually the real Spidey. And then Mark Webb, the director, mentioned Andrew, and Spidey's like, who's Andrew? And everyone started laughing, and they were saying, like, you know, this is the guy who's playing you in the film. But if you haven't watched it, like, try and Google this footage online of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 panel at Comic-Con. It's really good. It's very funny. But that was by far my favourite.
That sounds like an actor who really loves his role.
Yes.
Really loves being Peter.
Yes.
Which in itself gives me reassurance for the film.
Yes.
Because you've got someone that cares a lot about the character.
Yeah,
it's the second year he's done that, right? He's actually walked around the con floor before one came out as Spider-Man. He
did. He turned up in costume to announce the first film, which would have been 2 years ago now, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just fantastic. I love him so much. I laughed throughout the whole thing. I just had this massive smile on my face throughout watching all of this footage. It's just brilliant. You have to watch it. Really, really good.
Beat out Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, well, I love Tobey Maguire, but Andrew.
You didn't do that.
No, but Andrew is Peter. He just is, hands down for me. And then I think my other favourite bit of news was just it's probably that Amazing X-Men news, probably just because of the Nightcrawler thing, just because I've been waiting for such a long time back. That's probably my favourite actual bit of comic news.
For me, my real favourite one was Karen Gillan's bald head.
Yeah, but she still looks hot.
Smoking hot. Yeah. Okay, what's next on our questions?
Okay, so we've just spoken about it again, and we spoke about it earlier, the Batman Superman thing. So, if we're going to take the traditional superhero team up thing, where the two heroes turn up, but they don't really know each other, and then they take a while to suss each other out. And whilst they're sussing each other out, they have to have a big fight before they then decide that they need to work together to fight the bigger foe, right? Traditionally, that's what happens in these kind of things, right? So, question from @JamesSharp on Twitter, and that's Sharp with an E on the end. And he says, how can a film about a millionaire hitting an indestructible man actually work?
Batman breaks his fist, and it's the end of the film.
Yeah. Batman gets ground into a paste, as Bert said, especially if they're going with the realistic thing. So, it'll be interesting. I think.
Or Batman's already salvaged some of that destroyed Kryptonian tech that has been dotted all about the planet since Superman went on his big fight. And then after that, they synthesized some kind of anti-Superman weapon in his gauntlets or something, made from Kryptonian atmosphere from the World Engine, and uses that to punch Superman out. Bazinga!
Well done, Lucas.
Or Batman phones up the Avengers.
Sorry, sir, I kind of completely cut you off there. I'm sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, well done, Lucas. That could actually work. I mean, my other contribution would have been Batman could just growl at Superman until he gets too annoyed and walks away.
Batman.
Or he could possibly lecture him for killing Zod. But I guess that would probably get quite boring as well.
It's easy. Alfred steps in and says, guys, this
I
isn't
tried to protect
right.
you, and I haven't.
Alfred hits Batman.
He's pushed your head off.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets some Martha Kent and Alfred hooking up, getting jiggy with it. Old people style. Give Batman and Superman a brother or sister.
Shut up, Bert. Shut up.
Getting it on like, oh, hello, who's going to have a bit of cake? And then that's it. They're on it. That is drunk Alfred, by the way. Of course, they have to be drunk because they're sensible normally, but once they're drunk, that's it. The loins come off.
They go crazy.
Old people crazy.
Well, I hope I justified how Batman could stand up to Superman in the film, because that was my entire kind of mine and Bert's plot idea for Man of Steel 2, and how Lex Luthor would do something.
Yeah, while we was writing it under the guise of David Goyer and Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. But let's talk about our secret lives as cool people.
Right. What's next?
Okay, so another question. This one's from @P60M on Twitter. So he says, would you rather see events, so linking back to what we were talking about with Jimmy's question at the beginning, would you rather see these events just happen without being told that they're life-changing and everything is going to change as a result of this event, and just let them be done and written well and then judged on their own merits?
Do you know what? Yeah, because then you don't get disappointed when they say, this is the event that will change your life, and then you read it and you found that your life hasn't changed.
Yeah, I think nothing illustrates that better than Age of Ultron, which got hyped up so much.
And then pissed on us.
Yeah, and then we kept getting told that the end of this was going to change everything. Nobody was ever going to guess what was coming. And, we would never see it. And then it would got to the end, it's like, oh, really? That was it? After I've been told all of this? I think that event really does sort of epitomise that. But you see, I'm seeing the same thing now with Infinity and stuff. Like, nothing's ever going to be the same again. But it will. Even if something's changed temporarily.
Yeah. They don't, when they do change things, it don't seem long enough. I mean, I've got to hand it to them. House of M and Civil War lasted a really long time, the aftermaths. But there were the two examples of what they could have done. But everything that wasn't those two either changed a little bit, like Hulk's back and now there's a Red Hulk, but things go back to normal, or Secret Invasion with Norman Osborn taking over, but then things go back to normal. Just gets really, really old. I don't care if don't tell me if things are going to change forever. Let me just read a good story. We don't get it in films. There isn't a new bloody Indiana Jones movie where they say, your life will never be the same again. Or you don't get a new whatever film, that one, where they tell you it. So don't do it in that. Just don't do it. Give me the creative team. Give me the actors, not actors, the characters. Give me the story, and I'm done. You've sold me on the creative team, not your life will blow up. And that brings us to the end of our lovely baby making session that we've had there, guys. We're all going to say goodbye, but before we go, don't forget you can follow us on wearearcade.com, where the podcast and many others like Anime UK go. You can follow us on Twitter @Radio BAMF, Tumblr, Radio BAMF, and you can also ask us questions by clicking on that questions button, and we may end up answering them on the show. Facebook, BAMF Comic Book Radio, and YouTube, Radio BAMF. Like, subscribe, follow, review, love us, spread the word. We love you. Good night, London. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Lucas says bye too.
www.wearearcade.com